In the past 24 hours, 17 combat clashes have been recorded in the Lyman, Bakhmut, Avdiivka and Marinka directions. Fierce battles are ongoing in the cities of Bakhmut and Maryinka in Donetsk region. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine said this in its evening update as of 1800 on May 19 on Facebook, Ukrinform reports. According to the General Staff, Russian troops continue to concentrate their main efforts on the mentioned sectors. In total, the Ukrainian Air Force launched 6 strikes on the areas where the invaders' personnel and military equipment were located. Throughout the current day, our defenders destroyed 21 cruise missiles and 7 enemy reconnaissance UAVs of various types, the General Staff said. Units of the Ukrainian rocket forces and artillery struck a weapons and military equipment cluster, an ammunition depot, 3 artillery units in a firing position, an anti-aircraft missile system, 7 warfare stations and a radar station of the enemy. In total, during the day, the Russian army launched 36 missile attacks and 23 airstrikes, as well as about 30 MLRS attacks on the positions of Ukraine's defense forces and populated areas. It is stressed that the threat of further missile attacks and airstrikes by the enemy remains high throughout the country. In the Volyn and Polishcha directions, the operational situation has not undergone significant changes. There have been no signs of formation of enemy offensive groups. In the Severshchina and Slobozhanshchina directions, the Russian Federation continues to maintain a military presence in the districts bordering Ukraine. Leonivka in Chernihiv region, Boyaro-Lezachi, Pavlivka, Basivka, and Myropilya of Sumy Oblast, as well as Starykha, Sinelnikov, Ohertsev, Hatish, Nestern, and Budarki of Kharkiv region were subjected to enemy mortar and artillery shelling. In the Kupiansk direction, the invaders hit Kamyanka, Kolodyazne, Fyholivka, Novomlinsk, Vorokna, Zapadna, Mashutivka, Lyman Persh, Tabevka and Berestov of Kharkiv region and Stelmakivka of Luhansk region with mortars and artillery. In the Lyman direction, the Russian forces did not conduct offensive operations. However, they shelled Makivka and Bilohorivka in Luhansk region, Verkhniokamyansk and Spern in Donetsk region with artillery. In the Bakhmut direction, the enemy continues to conduct offensive operations. Heavy fighting for the city of Bakhmut is ongoing. The invaders attempted unsuccessful offensive in the area of Ivanovsky. The Russians launched airstrikes on the areas of Bodanivka and Bakhmut. Vashukivka, Zalizniansk, Orikovo-Vasilivka, Bodanivka, Bakhmut, Ivanovsky, Chasiv Yar, Bila Hora, and Pivnikny of Donetsk region came under enemy shelling. In the Avdiivka direction, the Russian army conducted offensive actions in the area of Severn, but had no success. In the past 24 hours, the enemy attacked Novokulinov and Avdiivka districts using aircraft, as well as Novokulinov, Berdichi, Avdiivka, Tenenk, Pervomaysk, Karlivka and Nevelsky of Donetsk region using artillery. In the Marinka direction, units of the defense forces once again repelled numerous Russian attacks in the Marinka area. At the same time, the invaders continue to destroy settlements along the contact line. Krasnohorivka, Marinka and Pobeda of Donetsk region came under artillery shelling. In the Shakhtarsk direction, the Russian army did not carry out offensive actions. Airstrikes were recorded near Zolotaniva and Vlika Novosilka. Vuhledar, Prekostivka, Novokranka and Shakhtarsk came under enemy fire. In the Zaporizhia and Kherson directions, the Russian army continues to conduct defensive operations. The enemy launched an airstrike on Novopil, Donetsk region, and fired artillery at other settlements, including Berlatsky in Donetsk region, Olhaivsky, Charivny, Bilahirya, Malotokmichka, Novodanilivka, Novoandriivka, Stepo, Kamyansk and Plavny in Zaporizhia region, as well as the city of Kherson. As reported by Ukrinform, between 2100 on May 18 and 5:30 on May 19, the Russian occupiers launched several waves of missile attacks from different directions. Ukrainian defenders downed 29 cruise missiles. The General Staff of Ukraine's armed forces reported on May 20 that Russia has lost 202,430 troops in Ukraine since the beginning of its full-scale invasion in February 2022, with an estimated 670 casualties on May 19. According to the report, Russia has also lost 3,781 tanks, 7,382 armored fighting vehicles, 6,103 vehicles and fuel tanks, 3,229 artillery systems, 564 multiple launch rocket systems, 325 air defense systems, 308 airplanes, 294 helicopters, 2,801 drones, and 18 boats. A video published by Ukraine's military appears to show the moment a Russian T-72B3 tank was destroyed following a strike. The General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces, which posted the footage on Friday, said it shows Ukraine's elite Zhytomyr paratroopers destroying the Russian T-72B3 tank, and the manpower of the occupiers. As part of its daily update on the war, the General Staff of Ukraine's Armed Forces posts figures on Russia's troop and equipment losses. Russia lost 4 tanks over the past 24 hours, according to the military's Friday figures, bringing the total to 3,777. Ukraine's military has posted footage throughout the war of Russian tanks purportedly being destroyed. The aerial footage shows the moment the tank is struck by Ukraine's forces, causing it to catch fire. The T-72B3 is the most modernized version of the Soviet-era T-72 battle tank, and the most widely used tank by Russia's military. It first entered into service in Russia in 2010, and was involved in combat during Russian President Vladimir Putin's initial 2014 invasion of Ukraine. The tank is more mobile than the T-72 with an enhanced engine and a greater weight. It isn't clear where or when the video shared by Ukraine's military was filmed. Western analysts have assessed that Russia has a shortage of tanks and tank crews in the war. The British Ministry of Defence said in April that Russia's reported decision to cancel its annual War Olympics, the Russian International Army Games, could be linked to tank shortages from the war with Ukraine. Russia's defense ministry has organized the International Army Games annually since 2015. It typically involves multiple countries participating in a series of competitions. Russia's state-run news agency TASS reported on April 18, citing unnamed sources, that the Games will now be held every 2 years. The next event will therefore be in 2024. The British Defence Ministry said there is a realistic possibility that, due to losses in Ukraine, Russia's Defence Ministry is concerned that a shortage of tanks, tank crews and other skilled personnel, will risk the Russian team's usual domination of the medals table. Russia also notably used one Soviet-era T-34 tank in Moscow's Red Square Victory Day parade on May 9. Victory Day is Russia's annual commemoration of Nazi Germany's defeat during World War II, and Putin typically shows off the country's military power during the parade. The British Defence Ministry said it highlighted the materiel and strategic communications challenges the military is facing 15 months into the war in Ukraine.